What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we're going to be doing another Manchester City transfer update. Before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. I will keep you up to date every single day here on YouTube with all the latest Manchester City transfer news throughout the January transfer window, so do subscribe. Social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget as well to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. So, we're going to crack on with this video, and it was all outs yesterday, and today, it's all ins. We're going to start off with a new name. It's a youngster, comes in the form of Alex Alcala. Now, he has signed a 5-year deal with Manchester City's elite development squad, the EDS team. He's an 18-year-old American central midfielder who currently represents Mexico at youth level. I say currently because he does have the choice with dual citizenship here that he could represent Mexico at international level. He could represent the United States of America. That decision's only made once you sign up for the senior first team, basically, rather than the youth level. And that very much is his level right now. He's an 18-year-old central midfielder who signs a 5-year deal with Manchester City from LA Galaxy's second team. So I wanted to welcome Alex and wish him the very best of luck in the academy, in England and at Manchester City as well. And who knows, you know, maybe a year or two's time we may be seeing him around the Manchester City first team squad. I was just doing a little bit of digging into him, and the people that have managed to see him play at youth level are bigging him up, saying he is a fantastic prospect. Of the people that watch international football at youth level as well are very excited in Mexico about him. So another promising young player brought into Manchester City's academy, and once more going with the common theme that City have got, which is taking the very best talents from around the world and bringing them to Manchester City's world-class academy. Anyway, moving on, we've got a new name, and speaking of young players, takes us on to an update on Roony. Bardghji, I hope I've said his name correctly, plays for FC Copenhagen. Now, the Football Insider have said that the 18-year-old winger is being scouted by both Manchester City and Manchester United. He has 11 goals in 30 games so far this season for FC Copenhagen, and there's a very good chance during Manchester City's two-leg tie with FC Copenhagen, it gives us a really good opportunity here to have a look at Roony to see if we do think he would be a good fit for the Manchester City squad, and do we want to bring him here. I will add, with a name like Roony, will Manchester City want to go there? We'll have to wait and see. But as I said, it's all about can he impress when playing against us, because it is one of the strongest, most anticipated tests that he'll have, not just right now in his career, but perhaps in his whole career, because this Manchester City team is a phenomenal team. They're very difficult to beat. They're very difficult if you're a player for us to get into the squad. So when you're going up against us, you've got to put on a show. You've got to put in a really good performance. It has happened before. Joshko Gvardiol at RB Leipzig last season, of course, was on show to Manchester City to showcase what he could do. We've seen it with Bernardo Silva. We've seen it with Benjamin Mendy as well. These are players that have all played against Manchester City in the Champions League knockout stages and impressed against Manchester City, that the City have decided that the summer after we've played against these teams that we've wanted to go out there, spend the money, sign them and bring them to the club. So I think this is definitely one to keep my eyes and ears open for. Now, moving on to the final transfer, and I will add, before I even speak about this, take it with a pinch of salt and take everything in hindsight here, but it comes in the form of an update on a new name, Bruno Guimaraes over at Newcastle United. Now, there are some rumours knocking around on Twitter, in particular with Tolmie speaking about it. I've spoken a couple of times about Tolmie. He's not an official source, he's not a journalist, he's not a media establishment, but clearly has contacts at Manchester City, so a lot of what he speaks about does tend to be true. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go out there and sign Bruno Guimaraes, but it does mean that Manchester City may well be having a good look at the Newcastle central midfielder. And of course, we've seen Pep Guardiola already give him one of his pep talks on the field, and we know that Pep Guardiola likes him, which is always a bonus when the top boss does like you. So basically what's been reported is Kalvin Phillips to Newcastle, Bruno to Manchester City is what's been reported. They're saying that it'll be a deal worth around £90 million. Manchester City valuing Kalvin Phillips at around the £40 million mark, and we'd pay Newcastle £50 million as well as Kalvin Phillips to bring in Bruno Guimaraes. Well, is that going to happen? I'm not too sure. I have my doubts about it. I think this would be a more straightforward transfer to do it as two separate transfers for Manchester City to go out there and sign Bruno Guimaraes as their own separate player, and Kalvin Phillips goes to Newcastle in its own separate transfer. City will want to sign Bruno, of course, more than likely in the summer rather than in the winter, whereas Newcastle, they want Kalvin Phillips. So Man City may want to go and improve their relations with Newcastle, butter them up, give them Kalvin Phillips, give them a good loan deal with that option to buy and say, actually, we'll come back in the summer and we will look to potentially work on trying to do a swap deal involving cash plus Kalvin Phillips to bring in Bruno from Newcastle United. If this does happen, I would say that it more than likely means that Lucas Paqueta of West Ham United will not be coming to Manchester City. As I say, take everything in hindsight, and I will also add that I reckon that you'd be looking more at the summer rather than in the winter transfer. What I do know is Newcastle, they want Kalvin Phillips right now on loan. Reminds me a lot of the Joshua Kimmich links to PSG and involving swap deals. It's easier for them. I think it's Mukiele or however you say his name over at PSG that's going to Bayern Munich. This deal sounds very similar and they're dealing with two separate deals, and this to me reminds me of the kind of deal that would be easier to sort as a separate deal. If Newcastle are happy to agree for Bruno to come to Manchester City for a fee worth £90 million, so £50 million plus £40 million rated Kalvin Phillips, then it'd be easier for us to say, pay the obligation to buy, and we'll be back in the summer with the verbal guarantee that we'll go out there and sign Bruno. Man City is a goodwill gesture, may say, have the option to buy instead if they want the guarantees that City will be back in the summer. Very interesting what's being reported. I am waiting for more official sources to report on this, to give more information, to put some verification on the story, but I certainly thought it was worthwhile considering the rumours are out there to speak about here and potentially what Manchester City could do, because City won't put all their eggs into a Lucas Paqueta basket. There will be other players that they'll be keeping an eye on, Premier League proven players, players that are doing very well. What I do know though, if Bruno does come to Manchester City, it will be one massive blow for Newcastle United. They're not going to want to do that. Will be a difficult transfer, a transfer to me that stinks of the summer, not the winter. Again, I'll keep my eyes and ears open with that. Any developments, of course, I will let you guys know first and fast. So, if you are new around here, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, please do leave a thumbs up. Do get your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Daily Manchester City transfer updates coming throughout the whole January transfer window for you guys to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester City transfer content. Also, don't forget social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries. And I'll see you all again later today with my preview for Manchester City's away game against, you guessed it, Newcastle United and facing Bruno. So I'll see you then. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.